we see is here, we're going to play the game, explain. So we see the 2D character with different sprites. And you see we have a jump animation, you see the animation. Maybe we can see the shoot animation to it. You see that swan here? That's like an animated sprite. Okay, that animator needs to learn how to animate, because if a swan flies like that, I'm wondering how the nature is made. Okay, so what we see is also physics. Our character falls down, a 2D physics engine built in. We've used 2D box 2D for that. What we see is here, when you see those as particles. Right? But particles, our particle system is a 3D system. We still can render. Those aliens are attacking a beam. Okay. You can still render 3D environment into the sprites. So it will render as a flat image in it automatically. Okay. So what you're doing, I'm going to remake a little bit that and talk about the animation system about. We revamped also our dope sheet. Okay. So is that interesting for you? Yeah. So you can do a file, a new project. And the first thing you'll notice here is, zooming a little bit, is instead of 3D we can do 2D. So that's a new mode. The only thing that it actually does, it will set your layout to 2D, but also when you import images, it will automatically convert it to our new sprite system. That's what it basically does. Really simple. Okay? But in my version it doesn't work. But it will be working. So I'm going to create a project. Okay. Hello. Okay. I think I crashed it. So you know I'm working here with a beta version. Okay. And create a new project. 2D. Create project. There it is. So that's a totally empty project. So you can see here the 2D mode is active right away. That's it, basically. We're going to import some 2D images. Desktop, 2D. Yeah, so you're going to import here some PNGs. Going to import them all here in one shot. Drag and drop into Unity. Okay. Come on. Yeah, and we're going to import some more. Oh, I need to learn the difference between my browser and my Finder. Okay. And okay, there. Now, what you see is here when they import it, they automatically set to a sprite. It's totally different. Like normally in Unity, you see a texture. Okay, you remember everybody? I think everybody's here really quiet. Everybody awake? Yeah. Okay, no, it's been a long day. You had the beer. Okay, so this is a texture. Okay, and I'm gonna press apply here. What we see, it ignores the alpha channel. Well, in the image here. Okay, but when I'm gonna do here a sprite, what we see automatically the image. Okay. You might think, yeah, what's going on different? Well, let's start with simple things. Let's start here with the tower. Okay. I'm gonna drag and drop that tower in it here. And I'm gonna have to frame it. What it actually does, it creates an alpha cutout. It creates a mesh with an alpha cutout. So I'm gonna show you here. So you can do texture wired, see? It creates a mesh and a cutout. So, especially for mobile devices, you'll know when you put them all on top of each other, you get a fill rate problem. So with that, you're not going to have a fill rate problem because it's all cut up meshes. So that's why we do that. It's very optimized. Okay. I'll put it back here to wired. So I can scale it. We all know uniform scaling has no problem with batching. But the moment I do non-uniform scaling, it also works with batching. We fixed that finally. Yoo-hoo. So, except for the 3D people, they still have to wait for that. Okay. So I put here the object. I can duplicate it, put it here. Okay, I can do multi-selection. I can take the anchor point, move it, and I can here do the rotation of the object I want. If I multi-select my anchor point, look, I can say rotate around here instead. Okay. Okay. And also, there's a shortcut to do a squash and stretch, but I have not found out the shortcut yet. Okay, so we have those two buildings here. Now you have to look at this also. In Unity, we normally use a mesh render, but this time we don't use a mesh render, we use a sprite render. So that's totally different. That has tremendous benefits. Why? I'm actually using one material, and I can change my sprites. And I will not change a different material. That means one throttle. it's really optimized. Okay? Because the less draw calls, the more happy I am. Okay. So, the cool thing is, because it's a mesh render, I can also change the color of the vertex. So look here, I can give this tower a little bit more impression that it's a little bit darker, a little bit further, and scale a little bit maybe. See? But I'm still going to have one draw call. That's all I care about for mobile games. Okay, now let's take the background here. There's, let's say the park here. Drag and drop that image in as a park here. You can place it here. Okay, and you're going to take the clouds. There was the clouds here. Okay, I can take that here. Okay, put that here. Oh, and I start to see I have rendering problems. What comes first? What comes in the background? Oh, I start to cry. Okay. Something cool now. We changed something. Edit. Is it interesting so far?
Yes.
Yeah. It's yes master actually. So I'm gonna go here to layers and tags, what we all know. But we added something here is sorting layers. Okay? Sorting layers is not to do with render, it's to do with rendering. What renders first? Okay. So we can make a few layers here. We're gonna make a layer, background. Okay. And I can make one foreground. Okay. Okay. So now look, you can't switch them around. And that means the foreground will then render up behind the background. So you can change the layers, flip the layers. You can also by script say in which layer a certain object will be rendered. Okay. When you look at our movie file, from our announcement, it says it's not scriptable, but you can actually at runtime still say that object should be rendered in that layer. Okay. Now you're going to take all those objects here, and you're going to say you belong to the background layer. See, sorting layer to the background. But the cool is per layer, per sorting layer, you can still define what renders first and last. So you're going to say that sky, I'm going to put it to -1. Okay? Why is that not working? Oh yeah, because I put them all to -1. So I can say this one, this tower, this tower I'm going to put it to 0 maybe. Yeah. That tower I'm going to put it to, no, the bank here, I'm going to put it to 2. And then this tower to 3. See? Now I can define what renders first easily. Okay, cool. I'm going to put in here some clouds. Okay. Those clouds here. Okay, I'm going to put those clouds maybe to 1. I'm going to put it in the background. So you see, we have those clouds here. Can I put them to 0 maybe? Then 0, and then this one is in, I should put it to 1. Okay. So now the clouds here in the background, okay? I want to animate them. Normally you have to use a script or something like that, and you start to cry as a non-programmer. But we changed something. That's really cool. Look at this. I'm going to set my clouds. I go to the animation tab. I'm going to add a curve. So normally what you see, we see all those different curves that are totally cluttered. As an animator, your hope is like, what the heck do I have to do here? I'm going to call it moving. Okay? And I want to animate an animation controller. I'm going to not care about that yet. I'm going to talk later about that. Who from you has already worked with Mechanim? 2 people? 3? New York, it's time to wake up. I will show you some Mechanim then. Who has seen Mechanim? Okay, cool. I'm going to show you some Mechanim with 2D then. So look, I'm going to save this as a cloud. Okay, but this is not really cool. I'm going to add a curve here, position here. Click, position. That's my timeline. You all know what timeline am I at Max? Hey, look, and this is not really cool. I just scroll in timeline, zoom out here a little bit. I'm going to say in 3 seconds, 4 seconds here, delete that key here. I just move it. And look now, auto keying. It's automatically animated for you. You want to change the function curve? Yeah, you can go into curves, click, or you can go back to your Adobe sheet, and then you can change your keyframes here. So totally optimized for that. Okay, pretty cool, eh? Normally all the people say, wow. I know, for New York, it's yeah, okay. Okay. And Los Angeles is, wow. New York is like, okay. Now we're going to put in a swan here. Okay. Interesting so far, or? Yeah.
Yes, master.
Where's my swan? Okay, I take here my swan. So my artist made the different sprites here. Okay. Take it and I drag it in. Up. But I have folded image. I want to have it nicely split up and make an animation out of it. How do I do that? Look. I select it. And here, this is not a single sprite, it is a sprite sheet. You would say multiple or sprite sheet. No. If you translate it from Danish or Russian, it becomes manual. Don't ask me, but they promised me to change it. They're gonna change it. So, okay. They're gonna put it manual, press apply now, okay? And now I have here, now I can edit this. Click, I edit this. And now I can say, okay, I'm gonna trim each image. I'm gonna trim this one, trim. And I go to the next one, cut this one out, trim. Then I go to the next one, trim. Okay, so I keep them doing that for a few hours until I'm trimmed out. Okay? But for New Yorkers, they want it fast. Okay, so don't worry, we have the New York button. Click. We can automatically cut up in a grid. Typical animations, they're making a sprite. But they also have automatic, and that's pretty cool here. Look, when I click size, it automatically does it for you, and you still can do the changes. Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
There's another button here. Yeah, wow, we have a new wow in New York. History overwritten. Okay. So what we have also here is a minimum size of 4. So imagine you do like typical particles or explosions. If the particles the pixels are smaller than 4 by 4, and the image on it, it will automatically connect it to the larger image. So pretty cool. So we're going to slice here, and press apply. What's happening over here in my editor, in my project, what we see is here, we see every image as a separate image. You start to wonder, where is my apply atlas button? But how do I create an atlas button? Don't worry, you don't have to do anything. It's all done automatically. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So that's a pro feature. That's the difference between the basic version and the pro feature. In the basic, you have to create your own atlas texture. In the pro, artists can do what they want. They can be as messy as possible. They don't have to worry about it. So now I want to create an animated sequence out of that. And how do I do that? That's pretty cool. Look, I select all the images. I click on it and I drag it in here. And now it says, save as what? This is my animation, I'm going to call it flying. Okay. What's my animation controller? The swan. Okay. And I'll press play. What I have is nicely my sprite animation. Pretty cool, eh? So I can select this. And look here, I have here my different sprites. See? Now as an artist, you can start to move those images, stretch them, say longer, or replace it with another image. Pretty cool, eh? So I want to animate it, make it simple, you select it. Okay. I click here. I can add a curve if I want. Transform position. Okay. Delete that key. Okay. And now I go to here and I put my swan there. Okay? So I have my swan flying. I'm going to put it in the foreground layer now. Foreground. Okay? And I have my swan flying here now. See? But who has ever done keyframing in the editor? Never done it? Oh, you know those programmers, I ain't touching that.
Yeah. It's too easy.
Okay. Have you ever done copy pasting keys in Unity? Try in Unity 4.2. You have to select the key, copy each different value, and copy paste each value for the X, Y, and Z. Now we change findings, be selective. Okay, I can select here all my keys or something. Okay. Okay, I copy, and I go to here, paste it, and I can paste it here now again. So now I have nicely my bird flying. See? Pretty cool, huh? Okay. Now, let's go a step further where we can see where you sometimes have to create multiple animations for an object and control from one animation to another state. Okay? Who's an artist here? 3 artists. They rock. 4. Okay. I'll tell everybody raise their hands now. Who's a programmer? Okay. Who has no clue what he's doing? So, what we're going to do is here now, listen. I'm going to go here to my potato guy. Hit this image. Again, so we're going to split it up. We're going to go to multiple images. We're going to go to the sprite editor. We're going to slice it automatically. Okay. And press apply. Okay. So now I have those different images. Look. I'm going to bring in one of those images here. Okay. And I'm going to put it to the foreground. But that image is too big. I can scale it. I can do that. Okay? But then I have to do it for each image I bring up for my character. Make sense? Like if I take the next one, here the bazooka, then I have to say you're also in the foreground, and I have to scale it. So it becomes a bit more complicated. So what you can do is this. You take the main image, and here you say, what is the size of this image? Here you can define how many pixels is 1 unit in Unity. So right now, 100 pixels on that image is 1 unit. If I put more pixels in it, in 1 unit, it becomes smaller. So I'm going to say here to 400. Okay? Let's apply. So now look here. If I take here the bean guy, and I put it in here, and I put it to the foreground, there it is. Okay? Look, we're going to take with the bazooka, drag it in, you're in the foreground. Hit. See, nicely it matches all the size. I'm going to put that to -1, this one. So it's behind it. And let's put the mustache also on there. Okay, the mustache. The mustache is also in the foreground. And that will be 1. Okay? Okay. So we have this character now. I'm going to call this M for mustache. This one B from bazooka. And this one is going to call B. Okay. Now in Unity, you know, it stores the animation in the root of the object. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to store the animation on the body from everything. Even when I animate the bazooka, even when I animate the mustache. So, we're going to take the mustache, make it a child of the bean. And take the bazooka, a child of the bean too. Okay? So when I move the bean around, the whole family is moving. Okay? So I want to make an animation of shooting. I want an animation of being like the mustache rotating from happiness. Okay? So that's really cool. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an animation first for that guy. So select it on the bean, it's stored in the root. Create a clip. And I'm going to call it shooting. Okay? The animation control, I'm going to call it bean. Okay? So, now I can add a curve. For what? For the bazooka here. And for the, say, position here. Okay? So now I go to here, move a little back. So now look here. I made already my animation. Now we're going to make a second animation of all that structure. Okay? Bean. Add another animation. Create a clip here called happy. Okay? And we're going to select the mustache here. I'm going to add a curve. Say transform rotation this time. Okay? And I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to go to here. Woohoo! Okay? So like, ooh, and then put it here maybe. Okay. So now look, I can always have a list of all my animations here, and I check out the animation shooting. Play that one. Oh, check out my animation happy. So I can easily, as an artist, have to look at all my different animations. Okay. When I turn this off, I'm back to game mode. So, for people who never worked with Mechanim, if I have my animation here, go to the animator, I see my different animation. I see my animation shooting, and I see my animation happy. Instead of coding that all to go from one to state to one animation, just make it an animation. Look, make it transition, go from shooting to happy, and back from happy to shooting. Okay, transition, click there. So when would I do that transition here? When the exit time. So when 25% of animation paid to the blending, but I can nicely do this, and then nicely it will do the blending. So look here, no? Let's play. I'm gonna have the shoot animation, play the happy animation, play the shoot animation, and play the happy animation. So you can easily go from state to state. That's the power of Macronym. But it also works right away with anything now in Unity, and also with the 2D. So it's very easy to animate, go to different states, and set up your different layout here in Unity. Interesting so far? Now another thing that we can do is select an object and I want to give 2D physics to that. So we build in the 2D box engine, a box 2D, physics 2D. So make sure here you see a difference. There's physics and physics 2D. So we're going to click here physics 2D and add a rigid body 2D to it. So when I press no play here, the bean is falling to the rest of his life. So we're going to make this object as a collider. So we can do add a component, physics 2D, and I can do a box collider here. So a polygon collider. I can show my editor my collider, and I can start to edit those points here if I want. But the cool thing is also I can open this and look here. I see how many shapes I have, how many vertices I have, and I can play with the quality of this. See? Now I have only 70 vertices, and it's pretty. Let me zoom in. You're going to see the lines here. So see, pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So I'm going to add this component now. Okay, I don't have to edit yet. There we go. So when I press no play, my beam falls. And what did I do wrong?
There's no collider for the beam.
No, there should not be the same. Was that?
There's no collider for the beam.
Yes. See? Liquor. So I'm going to take here my beam and I'm going to add a collider to it. Collider. So 2D physics, and I'm going to add a circle collider. Let me show you why. Well, I can do also a box collider. I'm going to press play, and my beam will fall. See, and tumbles over. But I want the beam to fall, but not to tumble. So how am I going to deal with that problem? It's really simple here. There's a button though. Fix the angle. So when I press play, ding, if I just move it a little bit more to the right, you will see moving it. Not scaling, moving. No, that's moving, yeah? No. Okay, press play. See, now nicely, it always keeps, the beam, Mr. Bean always stays up. See? Pretty cool, eh? Okay. So you saw how easy it is to create the layers, to put up, cut up your sprites, and work with it. No, I just want to add something to that. I'm going to open here a little project. And okay, actually, that's my daughter. So let me show you. It's a sprite animation of my daughter. She plays a mole in the game, and I have to try to catch her. Well, I'm going to make it more professional here. I show her the game, and she says, "I want to be the mole." So I said, "Okay." Okay. So this is the game here that I have. Okay. So let's play. All we see is all different sprites. You understand now? Okay. And I have to catch them here. Yeah. Yeah. See how many points I can get this time? Ah, come on. So I have 13 moles. Okay. No. Okay. Let's look at that here. So I take one sprite here. Okay. That's what I really like. So how was it done? Let's go to the images. So I have an image here. That's like my sprite animation catch. So I take all those images, drag it in, becomes an animation. And I took the sprites of my character going down. Okay. Drag and drop, and then I put in the animation controller. I have the sprites of all looking around the island. I drag it in, become an animation. Very simple. And this here also, I have my animation of coming out. Okay. So you can understand now. We have a sprite here, and here I have my animator. Go from the animation open and coming out, to the animation idle, looking left and right, and then go to close, and from close go to open. But who has worked with animation events in the past? Have you tried on 4.2 with backend in? No. You can try, it's a normalized function curve of 1 unit, try to find frame 35. Impossible. So what we did is you can now do animation events on frame and mechanism on 4.3. Let me show you what it means. So in the second mall here, I go to the animation tab here and I see the all different animation. So I'm gonna go to animation close here. So look, I have here the animation close, where my mole goes down. Okay. But actually, just before he goes in, I want to say, hold on, stay there for a little bit before you go back out. Just stay here, stay in the animation close, loop close. Loop the last frame, stay there, and then after a few seconds come back out. But I want to do that on exactly on a certain frame, like on this one. And here I connect it to the function perfect close, and my perfect close is just basically a little script that says, where's my perfect script here? We're gonna write it perfect here. Just hold it between 0.5 seconds, 3.5 seconds, and then this is also new in 4.3. You can know, instead of like a Boolean operator, you can know a trigger. So normally in the Boolean operator you have to write if it's true, if it's not true, all that whole code. No, it's just a trigger. So what happens here? Now look here. This says hold on, and then set the trigger from close to open. Click here, and I say here just yes, trigger true. That's it. You don't have to say it just triggers one time, and then I go from close back out, but I don't have to say yeah it's true and then set it back to false. So that's really SpeechW scripting, and it makes it super easy. So that was a quick overview of actually our 2D tools in Unity. Was it interesting so far? Yes. Okay. So a quick overview of Unity 4.3 for the 2D tools. Another thing that I want to mention, but I'm still not ready with my demo, is it also supports no blend shapes. So when you have blend shapes in Maya, you just drag and drop in it. When it tweaks Max, Softimage, Model, Pipewave, Cinema 4D, the list goes on. Just drag and drop it in Unity, and the blend shapes also now works. So really cool stuff. Another thing that I just wanted to point out. So, do I still have time?
Yep.
Yes.
Question for you. You passed over this briefly. So if you're setting material on sprite renderers,
Yeah.
Can you have multiple materials with different shaders attached to them in the 2D engine?
So you can add different sprites to your different shaders to your material. Yes. But it will be per material basically. You will have a different one. It will be separate rock roll. Yes. Yeah, but you can change that.
Yeah. And if you do the shaders for the 2D side, are they the same like surface shader structure or something similar? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have not looked into it myself personally.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been using the TK 2D framework for a good 2 years now, and this is like obviously a game changer. Is it possible for a free user to get into beta?
Right now our beta is closed,
Okay.
but we want to release a product in the very near future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
This is definitely this year.
Awesome.
So yes. Yes.
So something we use a lot, something we run into a lot, we're still 3.5 Pro, and it's the animation vendor lots of data UI elements moving around. And it becomes a problem with Unity, where it's creating alpha, but it's only creating like the back field of the public property. Does the new animation window allow you to animate properties?
The custom properties?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anything that's animable, or you can animate, you can attach it.
Well, like not like a field, like a property that has like set blocks.
They should be able to. Yeah.
As you mentioned UI, is it possible to, because you say you can switch between 2D and non-3D, can you use 2D for UI and animate it and such, and have 3D?
Yeah.
Can they run simultaneously, or does
Yes.
3D and 3D?
No, you can work simultaneously. Yes. But then you have to write a script where the 3D will be rendered, and a bit later it will be rendered. And I have actually this I can open here, that's what I forgot to show you here. So sprite 2D example here. No, sorry, I'm gonna open the previous one. Yeah, this one. Yeah. And guess what? I never saved the scene. That's not a problem. I'm gonna open here the final project. So in this case, you see here some particles. Well, I can do particle system here. So I don't see it rendered here. And even to, let me go to 3D, move it forward. Okay, so look, here's my 2D, okay, and there's my particle system. And I'm gonna go in 2D mode, and I don't see it. Who do I blame? The program is done. So look, I'm gonna get here a little script. And let me look at the script. Set particle sorting layer. So I can drag and drop that on my particle system. And then I can type in here and which layer that should be rendered. That particle system. Okay, you know here, I'm going to copy that. And where's my particle system? This one here, okay. Set particle rendering. Sorting layer, drag and drop of it. Where is it now? Yeah. Hey. I don't get it to work here. Oh, wait a second. Right here. Yeah, so you see now here, my particle system is here in that foreground layer, like the spaceship is in front of it. So you see now how the script you can control where the 3D should be rendered. So you can really combine the 2D and the 3D. Yeah. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of these examples like platform-based or like touch-based, but what about stuff that's like planar, like rollers and things like that, where you're constantly moving up and down, like changing your layer. Like how characters do they like Final Fight? In Final Fight, if your Y is higher than someone else's, your time is lower than your fight.
You can prescript change the layers structure if you want.
Oh, so so that kind of idea also goes hand in hand.
Yeah, prescript, okay, here in that script you could prescript, you could say in which layer you actually are. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think to discuss this a little further, is there any correlation between the Z that we don't see here and where the sprite is displayed?
Yeah.
Because if I wanted to use this as a billboard, so I could just move it ahead in front, like instead of changing the order, just change the Z's. Is that like something that could...
I looked into that, but so the storing layer has a priority on it. Let's say, what is that? You're going to say that this tower here now, I'm going to frame this, so I'm going to say here the Z axis now. Yeah, position Z. See, so if I bring it back, no, but when I bring it forward, see?
It's still in the back? No, I think...
No, I'm bringing it. No, I'm bringing the foreground. Yeah, okay. So sorry, here, the Z axis forward, yeah, and if I bring it back, it's gonna pop behind it. See, yeah, that works then.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So the order is basically encapsulated in the Z.
So you look at the Z, you look at the sorting layer. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still all learning about it too. So the more questions I have, the more I can look at it. And there was something else. I forget now. So my Z-axis, and I look at the sorting layer. Okay, but also here, my camera is set to ortho, eh? So here's my camera, main camera is set to ortho. So especially when I use perspective, that will become more thick to it. Yes?
This is all, oh sorry.
How does physics interact with layering? Like, how far like depending on the different types of layering, if you mess with Z or if you mess with, I don't know, just any of the layering options, how does box physics interact with that?
Didn't check it out yet. I know you can put layer on it, but I have not the time yet.
Okay. Like, so will it completely break? You want
No, the more I bet, the more we have to look how we can demo this all
It's okay.
and give feedback to our dev guys. Yeah.
Can you say anything about the event system, or is that like later on?
Well, the event system fully works in the 2D mechanism.
I mean, event, not like animation event. I'm talking about the new one they're adding like specifically for the 3D stuff coming up. Is that going to be available in 4.3?
No, the new GUI system is not available yet.
I mean, not even like events, because I actually don't care about the GUIs.
No, events on sprite on animations. Look here, I can create an event here now. Save, and I have an event here.